I'm going to give y'all some advice if you ever find yourselves as the general manager of an NBA team in the next few seasons. Do not acquire 3 point guards who all expect to be playing over 30 minutes per game. The Phoenix Suns surprised a lot of people a few years ago, and then they got really too damn excited. They signed Isaiah Thomas, and as a result, Goran Dragic was unhappy. Isaiah was traded not much longer. Eric Bledsoe was the lone guy left, and it's been a whole lot of mediocrity since. There was also the Morris brothers situation where they thought they had a chance at LaMarcus Aldridge. The Suns are definitely going to have to do some growing, but that being said, it helps when you have seemingly the next big-time scorer in the NBA in one Devin Booker, who, he's the guy. He has to be the guy for this team. He's the one who's going to be leading them to whatever they end up being for the next decade. He's going to be the guy at the forefront of the team, scoring probably 25 points per game for them and making a whole bunch of all-star teams. But they still have a lot of decisions to make. Number one, the point guard situation. It's Eric Bledsoe or it's Brandon Knight. Which one are you going to keep? Which one are you going to trade? Because Booker's the 2 guard, there's no question. And funny enough, I've actually mentioned a lot of this Phoenix Suns team in previous videos, but I've never talked about them as a whole. Personally, I think Eric Bledsoe's a better player. He's a better playmaker than Brandon Knight. He's a much better defensive player. However, he has injury problems, and I could see a world where the Suns say, look, we recognize you're a better player, but at least Brandon Knight's going to be on the floor. And for what it's worth, Brandon Knight is a better 3-point shooter than Bledsoe. And I actually could see a world where they just have Brandon Knight come off the bench as the 6th man for this team, but I don't know. I think I'd rather trade him and get a genuine piece, especially when their front court has so many questions behind it. And when you're looking at the power forward position, there's Dragan Bender, who seems to be like a shooter and a ball handler and an athlete at the power forward slot. There's Marquise Chris, who I'll admit I don't know too much about him. I think he's more of a traditional power forward in the sense. Both of those guys are intriguing, but we're going to have to find out with them. As for the center position, I like Alex Len. I think he's a big body. He sets screens well. He's pretty damn tough. I just think it hasn't come together yet for him, but I think he can be good in the NBA. But at the same time, if a trade offer comes up where you can get a more established, younger piece at the front court positions, especially maybe the center spot, and you can trade maybe Brandon Knight to make it happen, I think you definitely have to consider it. As for the small forward position, I really like TJ Warren. I think he hasn't had the perfect opportunity to really take off in the NBA yet, but I think he's very smart. As a cutter, he's one of the best in the NBA, even though he's only 2 years in the league. He's also really efficient from the entire floor. And in college, his thing was scoring inside. Even though he's not a supreme athlete or anything, he has that James Harden ability to find his way into the paint. He's not as good as James Harden, of course, but he's very crafty, and he's just got an ability to get into the paint, finish well, and I think he can definitely be a good piece for this team. So walking into next season with a starting lineup of Bledsoe, Devin Booker, TJ Warren, Dragan Bender, Alex Len, I think it's intriguing. I think their perimeter players are definitely farther along than their front court, but I think Phoenix is in a decent spot. It's going to take a few seasons, definitely. If we can talk about a few players that they could go for in the future, there is Nerlens Noel, who's about to be a restricted free agent. I think he would make a lot of sense on this team, given his athleticism, and I think he's going to be better than Alex Len. I also think he and Dragan Bender could really fit together well in the front court. You could trade Brandon Knight for Jahlil Okafor. I'm personally not a big fan of Jahlil Okafor, because I think he's just a center out of 1995. But it's an idea, I guess. So yeah, I think Phoenix could actually be pretty fun this year. I think if Eric Bledsoe is healthy and Devin Booker keeps on being Devin Booker, which we assume, and then I like TJ Warren, they can be pretty exciting. I don't think they have a chance at the playoffs or anything, although they did surprise us a few seasons ago. But that team was also pretty fit with veterans. This is a lot of young guys. I also think between Dragan Bender and Marquise Chris, there could be another trade in there if one of them is just clearly better than the other one. A lot of trade pieces. Point guard situation, power forward situation. Is Alex Len actually good? I think he is, but who knows? I think this Phoenix team, They got some moves to make. There's some moves that can make them better. And it's a real luxury to have a guy like Devin Booker, who's probably going to be a top, definitely 15, possibly top 10 player in this league. So I think Phoenix is, I think they're going to be all right.